Well, hello and welcome to I Love Gay today. And we are with Victoria Pelletier. Did I say it right?
You did.
Oh, perfect. From IBM. How are you, Victoria?
I'm very well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Oh, it's great to meet you and have you here. And no, we've been when we were started chatting online, I was just like, what haven't you done? It just seems like you've touched on a lot of incredible things over the years.
Thank you. Yes, I feel sometimes it makes me feel much older than I actually am for sure. Then there's days I'm at the gym and so powerful. I'm like, yes, but yeah,
Yeah.
no long sordid history.
Uh, but you're at IBM and you're doing a lot of work, I believe, from the more the HR perspective and motivational diversity and inclusion and transformational. Just tell us a little bit about some of that.
Yeah. I lead. I took over about a year ago. I've been with IBM for about 2.5 years,
Yeah.
but I took over earlier this year in January, running our external, what we call talent and transformation business. So supporting clients with all things people, workforce, culture, and recently a significant part of that's been around the conversation around diversity, equity, inclusion, given the social unrest we live in. It's been a passion of mine, mind you, and I've been heavily involved in it for at a corporate enterprise level for probably about 15 years,
Yeah.
but very much so. I mean, it's at the forefront of a lot of the work that and conversations I'm having with clients and CHROs now.
Yeah, no, and I know IBM has been at the forefront of a lot of this. You've got your compatriots, Tony Tenisella, who oftentimes attends a lot of both the NGLCC and travel related conferences and events, and a variety of different folks that we were chatting about before that kind of have this whole history with IBM representing different aspects of diversity and inclusion there.
Yeah, it's great. I got introduced to Tony through one of his team members, actually, Kim. I'm originally from Canada, and
Yeah.
his North American leader sits in Toronto, Kim. So she's the one who got me connected fully with the organization. I joined IBM for many reasons, but a big part of it was around culture and their commitment to diversity and
Yeah.
inclusion. And I loved, it was Kim who first coined the phrase, although maybe Tony says it, gay for pay, right? We have, a organization, that specifically has been focused on LGBT and looking at diversity and inclusion. My work more broadly includes all aspects of diversity and inclusion, but I've made sure that we're working very, closely together. And it was Kim who encouraged me to. I wasn't even aware that we had it at the time. I think she got me pretty early on into our organization. I'm one of IBM's out executives as well, which is great, and being visible and for the rest of our colleagues.
Yeah, I love Kim. I just saw her a year ago when we were actually going to conferences together before everything stopped, and I saw her and hung out with her for a bit in Seattle. She was there for the Out and Equal conference, and she was
Yeah, that's
representing
right.
IBM. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, so you've kind of leveraged a lot of that experience and so forth, and now you're out doing a lot of public speaking and motivational work. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my side hustle, although it came out of my day job, has been as a public speaker on a number of different topics.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, right now I'm probably doing a couple virtual a month. I much prefer standing on physical stages, but virtual sessions talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, the inherent. Although I often say I shouldn't have to explain to people, why this is the right thing to do for business. I think, but it drives, obviously colleague engagement, productivity, innovation. There's so many wonderful things about having a really diverse and inclusive culture.
Yeah.
So I spend time talking about that, also leveraging my background in history. I'm a big believer, long before Brene Brown was talking about vulnerability, but the importance of bringing our whole selves every day and what that means. And I became an executive at age 24. And so there's a couple of things that I will also stand on stage about. One is, what has that journey been as, at the time, the only woman at the table, let alone one that was probably 20 years younger than most of the others that sat around that table. So I bridged together all of these elements in terms of a lot of adversity I encountered, in my youth, and how I've brought that to the forefront in terms of becoming unstoppable, which is the name of a book that I co-authored as well.
Yep.
And so spending time talking about that, how to own our circumstance, the choices, around that, the brand that we bring out to the world, and part of that comes with the authenticity and their whole selves. And so it's why I've been really bold over the last number of years of doing that. And so, for example, being one of IBM's out execs when the Supreme, Court decision here in the US came, I wrote publicly for IBM on National Coming Out Day. I told the story of 30 years ago for me at age 14, what that was like. And so I love being able to, I spent, as I said, I talk a lot about personal brand, and, the message I leave with people is that, what's going to be on my tombstone isn't going to be about, how much business I drove for IBM or any other organization, right? It's about the impact I had in the world and the legacy and the people that I've been able to touch. So I've been fortunate that way.
I love that. Well, I used to once upon a time produce conferences with various partners that were always about, primarily it was always advertising, marketing, PR, that angle. But when we get back into that again, I would love to explore ways that we could have you as a speaker there as well, because it seems like you really have some great things you'd be able to offer.
Thank you. No, I'd love it.
Yeah. So when we're back in the real world, we'll be able to hang out. But in the meantime, no, I'm just really glad you were able to spend a few moments and share a bit of your story here with our audience.
Thanks for having me. I really love it.
Absolutely. All right. Take care now.
So good, coming back again.